Like, can I get a heck yeah? You know, just 10 years ago, nobody knew what EVP was. Now it's sort of like a household word or a household acronym, if you will. It's pretty cool.
For me, it's really exciting to see the more shows that we have and the more things that we do. More people are using Ouija boards. Like you said, 10 years ago, I think Ouija boards were a dirty word. It was something that was seen as bad. And later tonight, we're going to open the doorway to hell and suck you all in.
At least he's up front about it.
We can do it behind door number 2. The biggest thing, I think, is everybody wants to know if there really is life after death. You know, if we are eternal in our spirit and soul. And I think this is one of the first steps to that is ghost hunting and investigating to find out how much data we can collect about this phenomenon.
Sorry.
And science isn't doing it. It's up to everybody here, it's up to people like us to bring that awareness through the medium of TV, no pun intended, so people can see that this stuff does exist and there is data, whether it's into entertainment or whether it's actual evidence that's being presented. The other thing is people need to also realize is that we are real people. There's more to us than you just see in that 40 minutes that's on TV. Certain aspects of our personality can be edited out or can be left in, but it's up to people to get to know us at conventions like this. And thank you for coming.
It's a double-edged sword. There's good and bad that comes with it, and I don't think any show is ever going to 100% accurately portray any hobby, pursuit, career, and so yeah, I mean, going back to what Chip said, it's edited, so we have to keep that in mind. But I will say, like, for me, you know, I still maintain a day job as a journalist, and it really kind of makes it easier to talk about this community with all these shows that are out there, and it makes it easier for me to say, like, this is a story we should continue to pursue, because clearly all of you are interested in it, and a lot of people out there are interested in it, and your voices can't be ignored. So.
Excellent. Well, you know, belief is such a huge part of everything in the paranormal, right? Especially Ouija boards, they run on belief. Batteries or anything else. And so many spiritual things rely on belief. And can we prove that through science? Or, I mean, is that always going to be a factor? I'd like to especially hear, like, Murch and you know, our psychics, you know, Chris and Chip, kind of address that.
Well, part of the reason Ouija boards are so popular is that, you know, for over almost 125 years, people haven't been able to prove why it works. There's theories. And after watching hundreds of Ouija board sessions, I think I've seen just about every reason why they could be working. But I don't think science, it almost doesn't matter. You know, after 125 years or thousands of years, people haven't been able to prove one way or the other. So the fun of you guys coming here and investigating is the same thing that will just keep going on. People will just keep asking questions, and the Ouija board is just one way that we can all do that. So I think it's great.
Chris, what do you think? Can we take belief out of this equation and just turn it into science where it's, you know, EMF fields and things like that?
Well, I think that's what the problem is. Well, EMF fields, you know, considering that exists everywhere.
No, of course, no. I'm just saying, like, you know, do you remove belief from the equation and just stick to the data we know we can measure?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a well-known engineer that some of us work with that believes just in the data. Doesn't care about the ghost, doesn't care about that, and the data provides and proves that there is something going on, that there is conscious energy. The biggest problem is that the belief system always comes into play when you're dealing with major universities and you're dealing with science, and you deal with anything that has to do with life after death and the paranormal. That stigma can affect whether money is going to be granted out for that type of research. So it's up to people like us to continue to push that data until science get brave enough to say, you know what, something's going on here. But keep in mind, there has been research that's been done, Gary Schwartz, Dean Radin, that have done these studies and tests and proving with physics as well as with psychology that there is something going on more than just the brain dealing with the mind and the consciousness. And it can affect not only one another, but it can affect that data.
Right, absolutely. And Chip, real quick, just your thoughts on belief in the part of paranormal investigation. I know as an intuitive, you're not using the gear, you're using yourself.
Right.
But, I mean, can we remove that, or do you think it's always tied to it?
I think it's always going to be tied to it because we all have our own individual belief systems, and I think that we have reasons, individual reasons for doing this. Mine particularly are because I want to try to know more about what that afterlife is like. Try to figure out, does that world exist? Does that plane of consciousness exist? It's great when you get results that corroborate what I'm getting as a psychic or a sensitive to sort of substantiate that both things are coming into play and are accurate together. Are we ever going to find all the answers? Probably not in our lifetimes, but is the journey more important than the destination? I don't know. I mean, I think we got to keep trying, and I don't want to see people give up their belief systems in lieu of scientific methodology.
Right. Patrick Burns, I know you're a hardcore investigator. You have been for many years. Have you seen that change your sense of spirituality since you were young? Has it affected it one way or the other?
Absolutely. I mean, I got into this field of research from a spiritual perspective. I lost a brother back in 1985 in a very tragic automobile accident. And aside from just, taking in what mainstream religion tells us that we're supposed to believe, I started looking for my own answers. I started looking for that tangible experience and that proof to myself that something is out there. And I certainly have found that. The more that I get into this and the more investigative work that I do over the years, I've found that I'm less of a disbeliever, and I actually, ironically, do have more questions the further I go along in my research.
Excellent. How about Ben? Same question for you. You've been doing this now for a couple of years, and have you seen anything that's making you question maybe the belief system you came to it with, or do you have a belief system coming to this? Were you?
Yeah, nothing, not at all.
Okay.
I have very strong religious beliefs, but it all fits in. We don't know how. I mean, for me, the first time you see object manipulation, you see objects moving, like, well, that's cool. But if I always believed that there was life after death and that there is a, per se, like a spirit world, then why couldn't they do that? And same thing with, we do a lot with aliens and UFOs, and that's kind of a focus of my study, and I've already believed that there's life on other worlds. I think most people, those mental constructs they have, those boundaries, is because, like, if you look at this guy right here, not Chip.
Chip?
No.
Oh, sorry.
My day.
For example, the classic alien gray, for people who might
Actually,
believe,
he's Union, if you notice the
union.
Yeah. Just don't mean to correct you there. Go ahead.
A lot of people have a problem with this.
Chip doesn't have a problem with it, obviously.
Not at all.
Once you go gray, you never go. I said gray. Gray.
This is not a alien.
The night is young, Chip. Anything I say from here can't fix that. Anyways, a lot of people have a problem with this type of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Typification of the alien gray and what it looks like. But I could show you just as many accounts of, like, the Roswell crash of human-like entities. That doesn't mean that these type may not exist or don't exist. I just think that it all fits in somehow. And we shouldn't freak out that we just don't know the details about it. And it doesn't mean that it has to turn over your religious beliefs or anything like that.
Excellent. All right. Question for Aaron Sagers. As a guy that watches the media, as part of the media, have you seen a shift in how they cover us? I mean, we've known for years every October, the media goes looking for ghost stories and things like that. But and sometimes it's just to spoof on people, just to mock the investigators. Other times, they seem to take it seriously. Have you seen some shifts in the last 5, 6, 10 years?
I certainly have. I mean, it used to be that paranormal stories were the territory of local news, where they could break out the X-Files theme songs and talk about the wacky thing that was caught on a gas station security camera. And you still see that. You still see that in local news. But I know that there's a lot of major outlets that are maybe not signing on and believing, but realizing that the numbers of believers are out there and seems like growing. And so it's worthwhile to look at these stories in a more serious light. So yeah, I'm definitely seeing an improvement in the coverage, but that it is still easy to make certain cheap jokes, so you still see it.
Yeah, well, but what's interesting too, though, is, does that mean they're just catering to a demographic, or are they being objective? I mean, you know.
I would say actually probably a little bit of both. I mean, catering to a demographic, yeah, because if you have an audience that wants to see a certain thing, I mean, that's the case on any news channel or any TV channel, any show, you know, they're going to cater to that demographic. If you say we want to see more of this, they're going to show more of that serious side. But, you know, as belief grows, you know, I run into more reporters now. They know what I do, and it used to be that they would joke around and be like, so, you still doing the paranormal thing? You know, yuck, yuck. But now it's like, yeah, you're doing that paranormal thing? That's crazy, because I saw this thing out in the desert, and let me tell you about it. And so they're kind of pushing for their editors and their producers to allow them to go out on those stories and treat it more seriously.
Excellent. All right, guys, you know, it is the year 2012. Chris Fleming, I was hoping you could start here. 2012, December 21st, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that everyone on this panel does not believe the world is going to end December 21st. Otherwise, I'm guessing they wouldn't be here. They would be spending whatever is left of their money on some beach or whatever. So let's just assume that we're all on that page. But my question is, why do we always need the end to be near? You know, it was Y2K, and then it was, you know, the Hale-Bopp comet, and then it was, you know, it's always something that makes the news. Why do we need to think the end is so close?
Good question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, I guess from a perspective, from what I've seen, you know, I was in Mexico 2 years ago, and I talked to some of the Mayans, and I talked to some of the other people that have researched this. And they firmly believe that it's just a consciousness shift, that the Mayans were talking about there's going to be a change with our consciousness. Well, what that means, it can mean many things. It can mean that something significant is going to happen that is going to make us see life differently. And if that's the case, it could be great, because the way things are going really aren't working too well. You know, is it going to be the end of the world? I don't think that's possible. I think no matter what happens, whether there's a nuclear war or something else, the Earth, in some way, shape, or form, life is going to continue to exist. I believe that with everything that's going on with paranormal, what's going on with a possible war, is going to cause some type of significant consciousness shift. We're going to realize what's really important. What that may be, I can't answer.
Yeah, understood. Mersh, since you've got the microphone. You know, we've talked about belief, we've talked about the media responding to how popular this is getting. I know you work closely with Hasbro as a consultant on the Ouija board, because you know the history so well. Are you seeing a shift? Are they responding to the almighty dollar, saying we need to make more of these? What's the status of the Ouija board right now, given, you know, all the hype?
Well, you know, I can't speak on behalf of Hasbro, but I can
Sure
say...
you can, they're not here.
But I can say, you know, there's a movie that they're working on called Ouija, and so Kevin Tenney is working on a remake of Witchboard, and there are many different variations. We're actually lucky enough to have in the audience the maker of the Angel board, and there are many different variations of talking boards. So that has exploded. And you see it on television, on movies. I try to keep track of that, and I miss most of it because it's just on every single show that I turn to. So I think, yeah, they've definitely decided that Ouija boards are in, and they should make more of them. And in fact, there was just recently an Aussie edition for his tour. So yeah.
Isn't that cool? And I mean, anyone with a smartphone knows there's, I mean, at least like what, a dozen
different apps for your iPhone or your iPad or your Droid. So
excellent. All right, good stuff. Okay, Ben, we're going to put you on the spot now. I know you're, you know, fact or faked. Yeah, this is it. So I'm going to show some images right over here on the screen. Is it real? First question. We're going to ask for your judgment. I know, as a disclaimer, he didn't get this ahead of time. He doesn't get to like really pick it apart. But snap judgment. Is this real? Do you believe these two guys are in love?
Well, if we pay attention to the smiles, those are genuine smiles. You can see that the eyes dilate when someone is genuinely happy and not faking it. And the corners of their mouths are turned upward. The embrace with the hands definitely shows that there's more than just a casual friendship. So, I would say this is fact.
Okay, excellent. I love you, Dave Schrader. If you notice, the eyes are quite glassy as well, because we've been drinking for about 2 solid hours at that point. Not to get right. All right, one more image, just to put you on the spot. Do you believe this man is genuinely a straight-outta Compton kind of rapper?
Well, he is exhibiting some gang signs there.
Yeah.
Which gang I'm not quite sure. The coffee gang. I can see he does have an expression of attitude of intimidation, like he's trying to exert his presence.
Right. Notice the chains too.
The chains, he does have some
Yeah.
gold chains. He's got some bling on his thumb there as well. Yeah. You know, I would say it's not hoaxed. It's not fake, but it's misidentified.
Inconclusive. Okay. Well done. Thank you for your expert analysis. All right. So we're going to do a segment. We'll start down here with Mr. Coffee. Yes. This is a segment we do once in a while in 30-odd minutes called One-Word Answers, which is great because sometimes our guests are really long-winded. You guys have been great. That's not a cut on anybody. So one-word answers, I'm going to just shoot down the aisle, answer your question, pass the mic along, and we'll get some. People have been offering these questions all day long. I've been jotting some down. I made up some of my own. So without further ado, Chip Coffee, pizza or wings?
Pizza.
Okay. What's your favorite fruit, Ben Hansen?
Ooh, pineapple.
Okay. Growing up, what was your favorite TV show?
That's incredible.
Oh, that's 2 words.
Ooh.
We'll let you hyphenate it.
Hyphenated.
All right, Merch, if we hit shuffle on your MP3 player, what's the most embarrassing song that could come up from your collection?
All of it.
All right. Chris Fleming, first concert you ever attended?
Police.
All right, that's cool. That's respectable. All right. Aaron Sagers, what junk food is your greatest weakness?
Milkshake.
We'll take it. Back to Chris. We're going to go faster now. What one word would your mother use to describe you?
Chris!
Merch, favorite piece of paranormal research equipment?
Ouija board.
Yeah, good man.
That was 2 words.
Name a ghost from history that you would want to haunt your home.
Abraham Lincoln.
Good. We'll let you hyphenate that too, I guess. Who would you rather date from Scooby-Doo? Daphne or Velma?
Daphne, definitely.
Yeah, all right. Chip, same for you.
Scooby.
We'll take it, we'll take it. All right, guys, so what's next in the paranormal? We're getting popular, we're getting media attention. Things are, these conferences are great. Look at all these folks that are here for answers. Where do we go next? One of the things I was talking about earlier, and I think it's great that we've got folks from, we've got UFO folks here, we've got cryptozoologists here. I think we're starting to see a blend again. And so do you think that'll continue, or are we going to get specialized? That's a ghost. Probably a demon.
It's a poltergeist.
Excuse me. Sorry. I had chili.
Lovely. I really do. I love seeing the different modalities come together. You know, the UFO folks, the paranormal investigators, the folks that are here with psychics and mediums, and all those things blended together. I think that there's a place for all of us here. We're all different, but somehow it all seems to fit into that whole paranormal spectrum. I think we're all on the same quest, just to explore, to have fun, to look for answers. And the more we can do it as a community and enjoy the process, I think the better off we all are.
Right on. Same question.
Yeah, I think we're living in strange times, and anybody who tells you with 100% certainty they know what's going on is not telling you the truth. We all have to have...
Are you sure of that?
Yeah.
100%?
Nah, 99%.
Okay, good. That's true.
So I think there's so much more crossover between the different fields than a lot of people like to realize. And for orbs, for example, the people who will just dismiss orbs altogether, I think, are overlooking something, because they're very popular in the UFO community, and the whole phenomena, I think, needs to be researched more.
What was the question again?
What do you think of, it seems like we're in a time where the paranormal is starting to diversify again. It's not just ghosts, just UFOs, just this. It's coming together. Do you see that continuing? What's next? Where do we go?
Absolutely. I think it's still going to continue to move forward. You know, even when the day comes, if that day comes, where the TV shows kind of fall out of favor, certainly there have been a lot of people that that have gotten into this because of the TV shows, but they've taken on more passion for it than the TV shows. And when they go away, the field will still be standing. I mean, there'll be a lot of people that are, you know, kind of over it and I think move on to other things, but the field has grown exponentially over the past few years, I think, and the TV shows have a lot to do with that, and hopefully things will continue down that path.
Yeah. Merch, how about for you? You know, what's next for the Ouija board? You mentioned the movie that's coming out, and Hasbro's got the Aussie edition. You know, that board's been around for 120 plus years. What's next for that?
Well, I think a question I always had was, how would the Ouija board fit into the digital world? I mean, people are playing with Xboxes, they're not, you know, opening up game boards. But the Ouija board has kind of defied that. And I think it's because people are still, no matter what year it is, looking for that connection to what's out there. And it's so simple and so easy that I think the Ouija board will be here in 125 more years, and it will look pretty much exactly the same.
That's cool. Chris, how about for you? Question just similar, but you know, where do you see the psychic realm of things going? Do you see it gaining momentum, gaining acceptance? Have you where have you seen that, you know, go in the last few years?
I see it going away from, you know, more dramatic tellings of how psychic abilities are used, and I see it going more into the research, into facts, as well as any type of evidence, whether it's UFOs, ghosts, and everything. I think they're going to be going more towards the evidence, showing that data, that it exists. People have seen enough of some of the dramatic tellings of it. They want to see some concrete evidence, and I think same thing with the psychic abilities and the research. They're going to want to see that.
Right. And popular culture, I mean, it's not just nonfiction shows, but of course all the various, you know, dramatic shows and things like that. We're seeing Walking Dead, and you know, they could all fall into that. Is it still growing?
Still growing. I think it's going to move within the TV realm away from some of the technology, more focus on stories. And I think you're going to definitely see more zombies because they represent sort of this apocalyptic vibe and concern. And within movies, you're going to see more of a reflection of the TV shows, sort of scripted, fictional versions of, you know, all the paranormal reality shows. It's going to be reflecting that.
Excellent. Well, you know, we talked a little bit about UFOs. I do fly in a spaceship. We did crash it earlier. Let me check in with the crew, see how things are going.
Jeff, come in. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Are the repairs just about complete?
No. Well, they're about complete, but you gotta get back here. We got black helicopters. We got men in black. We got a whole lot of stuff going on. So you just gotta get back here.
Okay, I'll be on my way in just a second.
All right. Hey guys, put the beer funnel down. Start the engine.
These guys.
Come back here quickly.
All right, on my way. Folks, 30-odd minutes is just about up. This is what we do each week. We talk to all kinds of great guests. Most of these folks have been on before, some first time. Thank you for playing along with us. We try to have fun with the paranormal, and of course, we fly it in a spaceship that crosses time and space and gets to land in all kinds of funky places. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Phenomenology 104. Thank you to our great panel, Chip Coffey, Ben Hansen, Aaron Sagers, Chris Fleming, Patrick Burns, Bob Murch. Until next time, folks, stay on. All right.
Thank you for coming. T-shirts, $10 at the Ghost Outlet store. $20 for the shirts go 25% to Tales Humane Society. Get them tonight before it's too late.
Thanks for the shameless plugs, Chris Fleming.
You're welcome.
This is where we'll insert the credits later. So anyway, folks, there are few raffle tickets are left for some of the great prizes over here, and we got 30 minutes until Stan Romanek's up, and you don't want to miss that. Guys, thank you guys so much for being a part of this. All right.
Okay, before you get up, we got some important announcements regarding some raffles tonight, and I'm going to let John Brightman talk about that.
Hey everyone, anybody who's purchased a raffle, I was telling everybody that the raffle would be tomorrow at noontime with the change of plans. They're going to be tonight at 9 o'clock for the gift basket raffle that I was doing with the melt meter and all that. So anybody come over to the table around 9 to raffle that off. And anybody that's doing the live auction for the flash camera that I was auctioning it off, Right now, the top bid is $300. If you guys are interested, come over to the table. We'll be doing that also about 9 o'clock too. Thank you.
And I have a question. Anybody that was doing the museum last night, did anybody leave a piece of equipment? If so, come and see one of my staff members. We have it. And up next, Stan Romanek. He's going to be starting at 8:15 sharp. Prior to that, at about 8:05, 8:10, we're going to be doing the drawing for these, the Mel meter, the zombie survival kit, and the other piece of equipment we got. You still got time to buy some tickets if you want. I'll be up here.